Welcome, travelers. Welcome to another awkward episode on day 680 of Bible study, devotional, BMX flatland learning, and maybe even a drawing stream in the future. We're gonna try and get back into it. I've been having to catch up with a lot of things, but that's the weird thing. For some odd reason, I don't really get burnt out of riding my bike, but for some reason I get burnt out of drawing. I don't know what that is. I just feel like maybe it's just something just moving around. It honestly just feels good, and it just feels good to move around and break a sweat and stuff like that. So let's get into it. So welcome in. We are riding in a 15 by 15 square foot area, and I think this is one of the greatest strengths about Flatland is that no matter where you're living at, you could probably find at least maybe even a 5 by 7 level square foot area, because there are many Flatlanders that actually practice in very small quarters, which I didn't really know that, but actually practicing in smaller area circumferences actually opens you up into different carves, and with the different carve you can get into different tricks. But yeah, I think that's the really cool thing about Flatland, is that it kind of gives everybody like an even playing field in some degree, right? Now, I know we do have like a quarter and a ledge and stuff. You really don't even need that stuff, honestly, to learn Flatland. So yeah, it's the really cool aspect. And I have gotten some messages being like, oh well, I don't have a skate. Well, it was messages prior actually to when I got into Flatland. But I got some messages from some kids from like different countries, and they're like, oh well, I don't have a skate park, I don't have the city's not letting me build dirt jumps, and like the cops are kicking me out of street spots. Well, here's I guess where Flatland comes into the picture, because you don't need any of that. You just find a level area, which it's not too hard to find, or you could just make your own too. And yeah, it's really fun. Very challenging though, but I think it's kind of feels like a really gnarly RPG game. Anyway, we're going to get into the topic today. I actually kind of didn't realize that the topic we were going to get into yesterday about envy and jealousy was going to get so gnarly, actually. It was very, it was actually a good reminder for me, because sometimes, when you kind of have something in your mind, you kind of forget how crazy it actually is until you start when you start studying it again. And I honestly... it's like I studied it so much in terms of like coveting and envy and jealousy, because I think that's such a common emotion we all go through. But just reading the commentaries yesterday and seeing the impacts it has on so many areas of our lives, it's actually insane. But it's kind of interesting thinking about what the commentaries didn't bring up. Now, the commentaries didn't really bring up some questions that I actually had, right? One of the questions was, okay, well, if envy and jealousy is a major problem within our modern society, how are ways we can heal envy and jealousy, right? What are some ways we can heal envy and jealousy? And I think what's really eye-opening and actually shocking is actually thinking about the effects of envy, and even how envy it went all the way back to Cain and Abel, where Cain actually killed Abel because of envy. So it's so crazy to even think that envy could even spurn all the way into murder, right? And that's the other weird thing about envy. Just a little update, a little review from yesterday, is that envy can bleed into so many other sins. It can lead into depression and sadness, wanting to, and then depression over long periods of time can get into suicidal ideations, you feeling less than about your own life. It can lead into frustration and anger at your own life, and then maybe wanting to hurt other people. It can lead into wanting to steal things. It can lead into deeper levels of like lusting after things. And so envy and jealousy that ultimately leads to coveting is a very interesting aspect, and I didn't realize how crazy it was, man. What's up, Commander Jelly? Legs. So I'm gonna try and before we get into this Bible study, because I'm just gonna look it up. I don't even really know if there's a commentary on it, but I'm trying to think about like, okay, so it's actually very interesting, right? So imagine like you were given the question, how would you heal envy and jealousy in people, right? Because I think the other scary thing, especially from the Bible study we did yesterday, and then just thinking about all the heinous acts and crimes and violence and things of this nature that have happened in our modern society at the moment, probably even going on at this very moment, actually, that's the scary thing, is that it's so crazy to think that there's people out there that, like, they could seem completely normal, right? But they could be on that, like, the straw that broke the camel's back, and they could just snap and just want to kill many, many people around them, or maybe even kill themselves. It's actually really, and it's so scary to think about that, right? And the other aspect of why it is so scary is because, you know, you see these like, you see even like, it's actually ridiculous. You see like these interviews of like people that have, the people that have known like people that have done like mass shootings or that have done heinous acts or that they were like serial killers. There's a very common theme that starts happening, right? And it's these people that knew them, and they always go, oh, well, he was always just quiet. I never knew that he was going through any problems or anything like that, right? And isn't that crazy, bro? It's like so scary, bro. It's so scary that we live in the age where we never know when the next person is just going to snap and just like want to like take some people out just because maybe, you know, it was the straw that broke the camel's back and things of that nature. And is that not really scary to think about? And it's just so scary to think, I mean, what if these people are maybe going through some heavy burdens and trials of maybe them being so envious at other people and jealous of other people, or maybe jealous of other people's lives or their relationships and things of that nature. And I'm just wondering, and it's so weird that the commentaries didn't go into it. It's like, okay, so if envy and jealousy is this big of a problem, what are some ways we can heal that, right? And honestly, when I think about that, I think about maybe just trying to learn how to encourage one another. Maybe try to learn how to encourage people that you might not even like. Maybe that person even like annoys you, or they're irritating, or maybe they even just get on your nerves all the time, right? But is there a way within all that, can we somehow still encourage that person, right, to do good and to just be a better person? And hopefully what I'm thinking is if we can encourage and maybe start the seed of encouragement, maybe that person might encourage somebody else, and then that person might encourage somebody else, instead of the whole trope of that you hear in psychology a lot, especially with mass shooters and things of this nature, of, you know, those who bully were once bullied themselves. It's like the very common theme that actually happens. And it's just so scary that it's the other weird thing about it, right, is that we all know this. I mean, maybe not, we don't all know this, but this is a very common thing. But the scary thing is that this continues to keep happening, right? And I think that's it's just so scary to think that there's just people out there that are just ready to just tick and just explode. And it's is that not scary for anybody else? Because I think that's and if there was a way we can heal that. I mean, there's actually a let's actually look up in here. There's some Proverbs actually that says something along the lines of the tongue of the wise brings healing. So let's see here. Let's see if I can remember that. Where is that verse? Let's see if I can find it without Googling it. Because right now I'm just trying to think about how can we heal people that are going through these problems, or maybe even heal ourselves. Because I think that's the other weird thing, especially from another little review that we did yesterday. The scary thing about, I mean, it's not even that scary, honestly. The thing about envy and jealousy is that it can happen in our lives and we not even be aware of it, right? It's actually crazy. Like, I'm wondering, like, how many people actually feel this emotion and they don't even know that it's envy and jealousy. Maybe they don't even know that they're coveting, right? Because I think when I was younger, that has happened a lot, right? I mean, man, there's even a strange, like, even almost like a child psychological aspect of this, you know, because, you know, like when you were a kid and you saw all the other kids have some sort of like toy or something, and you're like, oh, I want that toy, and then you get like all frustrated and you start crying and stuff like that. What if that same mindset is happening right now but in maybe a bigger scale of into like later years, right? That's actually really weird to think about, right? It's actually kind of crazy to think about. Let's see here. So it's actually kind of making me think about this verse right here. This one says, "There is one whose rash words are like sword thrusts, but the tongue of the wise brings healing." So I think that's a very important one, right? We should be, I mean, because the thing about being wise, right? We're called to be wise. Now, I think it's James 1:3 that actually brings up that we are actually to ask God for wisdom, and He gives generously to all without reproach, I think. Let's see here. Let's see if that's a little combo we got up in here. Let's see here. Let me bring this up so I can read on the computer screen. "If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given him." So, if we are to ask God for wisdom, and He's going to give us wisdom, I think that's a big leading right there, that we should actually be healing people with our words, right? And now, I guess that could be a little subjective, because it's kind of strange. And it's, you know, the other weird thing that it's making me think of as well is I actually have encountered people that have gotten into fights because of, it sounds ridiculous, but because of like Instagram comments and things of that nature. And it's so weird, because in a comment that we write, you know, I think there's only 140 characters you can put on an Instagram comment or something like that. It's not like you could type like a crazy in-depth thing about it, right? And the other weird thing about typing a comment many times is that we can't really put our own voice and our own emphasis on words in that, with our own emotions within that. So maybe sometimes you can write a comment, and maybe you write it to some person, and maybe that person takes it the completely opposite way. Maybe they think that comment's like super snarky, or like just super like just mean, or maybe they think that they're just making fun of them. And then what happens is that just causes a whole misnomer of just all these bad thoughts within one another, right? So I'm wondering how many, like, if that is happening, right? I know that's probably happening right now, unfortunately. And it's actually flat out just absurd to me that people have literally gotten into fights because of little comments that they have taken the wrong way. It's actually not funny, but I just find that very interesting, actually. So yeah, okay, so let's see here. So we got that one. So Proverbs 12:18. And then the other ones I'm going to have to look up because I don't know exactly where they're at. But let's look up some like encouragement Bible verses. Encouragement Bible verses. So if we can bring encouragement, healing, maybe inspiration, maybe motivation, maybe just to keep them going, right? So we're going to look up some encouragement Bible verses. See what that's going to bring up. I wonder, and here's the other weird thing, is I'm wondering what other believers would think, right? I'm very curious, like, what would other believers say? If this is such a big problem, if envy and jealousy is such a big problem, how do we actually go about and heal this, right? And that's the other, and then the other whole, I guess, cog that gets put into all of these problems is just the society that we live in, right? Because we do live in a kind of a market-driven, consumer-based society. So in some terms, like, how does all that fit into the picture, right? It's just so weird, right? It's just very, very odd, right? Man. Because, I mean, like, so, I mean, imagine this were to happen, right? Imagine, like, I mean, I'm just going to bring up, like, a hypothetical situation, right? What would happen if we started living in a society where, like, in order to get into a relationship, or something like that, you had to get certain items. Like, you just had to get certain things. Just you had to buy maybe very, very expensive things to get into these aspects of living, right? And what would happen if just a whole bunch of people were opted out or never was even close to even attaining those things? I mean, I think that would probably maybe even cause some envy and jealousy, right? I'm wondering, how would we heal that, right? How would we go about healing this? So we're going to read some of these verses up in here, because I think
I think encouragement, I think, would maybe help, right? Just encouraging others. Let's see here. Josiah 1:9. Wait up. That one doesn't say encouragement in there. Let's see here. Okay, 1 Thessalonians 5:11. Therefore, encourage one another and build one another up, just as you are doing. So 1 Thessalonians 5:11 is a big one, that we are actually called to build one another up, right? Now, I guess what would be the cause of tearing somebody down, right? Encouraging one another, right? Building one another up. Let's see here. What other ones do we got up on here about encouragement? Hebrews 10:24-25. And let us consider how to stir one another up to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together as it is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near. That's a very interesting one too right there, right? We are to stir one another to love and good works, right? Now let's actually look up, now it's actually kind of interesting thinking about that, because it says good works, right? So that reminds me of, Matthew 5:14-16, honestly, because that's what the Lord Jesus Christ says, right? The Lord Jesus Christ, on the Sermon on the Mount, he says, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand, and gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven." Now, what's also strange about this verse, right? It says that we are supposed to be a city set on a hill that cannot be hidden, right? I'm wondering if there's a strange level of maybe accountability, right? Imagine if every single believer's life we could just see. Imagine if we could just never be hidden. Like, how crazy would that be, right? And sometimes I think maybe the Lord is almost like showing, like, maybe there is a level of trust and transparency, right? Like, if you are really being real, like, are you, it's like, that whole phrase of like real recognize real, it's like, and the whole thing is like, if you have nothing to hide, then it's just like, you might as well, or like, I've even heard some pastors go into these verses right here thinking that if we really do believe that God knows everything that we're doing, that he's actually seeing everything that we're doing in some degree, we shouldn't even be afraid to not be hidden, right? So we should just let our light shine. And that's what some pastors have said. Actually, many pastors if you look up sermons, like if you type in right now, Matthew 5:14-16, sermon on YouTube, there are tons and tons of sermons on these very verses, because these very verses right here of the Sermon on the Mount have inspired believers for thousands of years to go out into the Great Commission, to go out and try and make disciples of all nations, to go out and proclaim the gospel, to do their devotionals, right? And I think that's just really awesome. And it's just like, it's so crazy to think, even if we were to talk to other believers at this very moment, many times it's not just like, I've been noticing this because this has happened in my own life, right? Many times it's not like, boom, you just start believing and then you're just like running out the gates and you're just like, all right, I'm going to do devotionals and I'm going to just try and glorify God in everything that I'm doing, right? It's not normally like that. Generally, it takes a very slow process. And generally it's almost like we're growing plants. We're out here just cultivating plants of seeds of faith in everybody's lives, and we're trying to water them and stuff like that, right? And so it's so strange to think about that. And many times, people get inspired by other believers, and they get inspired by other believers because they were shining their light on them. And that's very interesting to think about, right? Now, it's kind of weird thinking about this verse right here as well, because this verse is saying we should be stirring up one another to love and good works, right? So I'm wondering what the Lord would think about that. Would the Lord want us to be, I'm wondering what you guys would think. Would the Lord want us to be stirring up people to be doing this in the same way, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who's in heaven? I don't know. But let's look up the definition of love now, because I think that's actually very, very important, and that's in 1 Corinthians 13, which I think this is a very important one to try and remember. Now, I haven't remembered most of it, honestly, but I have remembered like where it is. Well, let's read some of this up in here. see if I can read it on the screen. If I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I am a noisy gong or clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith, so as to remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. If I give away all I have, and if I deliver up my body to be burned, but have not love, I gain nothing. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant. Oh wow, that's actually very strange. I totally forgot that it said that. It's so crazy that it says love does not envy or boast, right? Where's that pen at? I had a pen out here. I'm going to underline it this way. I had a color pen out here. Yes, I don't. But let's underline this. Love does not envy. That's a very interesting one. So that's actually an aspect of love, right? So maybe that's the other strange thing. I mean, that's so weird because we also have to remember that the definition, the biblical definition of love is right here, right? And it's much, much different than the worldly definition of love, right? Many times the worldly definition of love almost just, it's almost like this lustly desire of just wanting to obtain things for yourself and things of that nature, right? But the biblical definition of love is much different, right? Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. Wow, that's actually very interesting. It is not irritable or resentful. That is actually really gnarly, right? It's like how even just reading that, it reminds me all of the times I have gotten irritable and all the times I have gotten resentful, right? It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. As for prophecies, they will pass away. As for tongues, they will cease. And as for knowledge, it will pass away. Intriguing. So let's look up some aspects of this now. Let's look up how do we heal envy and jealousy? How do we heal envy and jealousy? If it's really this gnarly of an issue, right? I'm going to put in Bible at the end of it. Okay, interesting. Okay, actually we got kind of close. I'm so surprised. We actually got a little close with this. Here are 4 ways to fight envy. And I typed in how do we heal envy and jealousy, and then I put in Bible at the end of that. That's what I typed in right there. But this is what came up, the very first thing that came up. Let's read it. I guess I'll just read it. I should click on it, but we'll just read these little 4 things right off the bat. Here are 4 ways to fight envy with love. Thank God for the success of the person you envy. Jesus commanded us to pray for enemies as one way of doing good to them. Ask God for further successes of the person you envy. Enjoy the gifts God gave to the person you envy. Praise the person you envy. Interesting. Let's read some more of these. I'm wondering actually what they're going to go into up in here. Put on love to put off envy. Interesting. Let's read this. Thankfully for the Christian, it is both our right and also our business to put off our old self and to put on the new self. Ephesians 4:22-24. The Christian who battles with the sin of envy may mistakenly feel that he is more of a skirmish than a battle. Why? Because envy is so easy to keep a secret, even from oneself. And that's the very thing I was talking about, right? And this is the scariest aspect of that. I'm actually wondering, like, how many murders, how many people that have maybe even taken their own lives, how many heinous acts of crimes and things of this nature, how many have actually, if we were to go really deep in the roots of the minds of these people that do these things, right? How many times has envy just started? What if envy was like the cog that started, like, it was like the key into the ignition that started all these crazy other things that started making these people do these things, right? It's actually very weird to think about that. Okay, let's see here. And like other sins of the heart, the human imagination is always trying to relegate it to second place in the sin scale. Envy can be dangerous because no one ever sees it, and it really doesn't hurt anyone. Then, if envy ever produces natural offspring, the overt sins, our tendency is to cut off the sin that has flowered up of it without attempting to remove the envious root. Huh. Interesting. One scripture makes it clear that although man cares mostly for the outward appearance, God is concerned with the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. This means that all this business about envying being a secret sin is nonsense. God can see your envy side by side if they were two slugs lying next to each other in the sun. There are no secret sins. Let's see here. What is this? Two scriptures make it clear that what is in the heart does not stay in the heart because, as Jesus observed on more than one occasion, it is out of the heart that the mouth speaks. Envy often leads to action. Like every other sin of the heart, envy is not safe. It doesn't stay put and comes with some unpleasant friends. Huh. Okay, it's so weird. Like these commentaries don't go into, okay, so how do we heal envies in others, right? Because I know they're making it aware that it is. See, it's like a lot of these commentaries go into, they're making it aware that it is very problematic, right? But what's weird is these commentaries really don't go into, okay, well, how do we heal envy, not even in ourselves, but how do we heal envy in other people, right? If it is such an interesting thing to think about. That's so weird. I literally looked this up, and there's no commentaries that even go into that. What in the world, bro? You think that there would be tons of commentaries on that? How do we heal envy and jealousy, right? You think that there would just be tons of commentaries on this? There's I can't even find one. I mean, maybe I'm gonna have to read deeper into these ones. Let's see here. Let's see here. It says we are to overcome envy with love. We understand that one, right? Let's see here. I'm actually going to look this up now. I'm just going to see how do we heal. I'm just going to type in how do we heal envy and jealousy in others. How do we heal envy and jealousy in others? I'm wondering if anything's going to come up. I don't know, right? That's so odd. Now, okay, so there's actually something very interesting now. Even when I type this in, right? What's very odd now that I think about is that when I type this in, they always relay it as it's we have to be aware that we are envious, right? We have to be ourselves aware. But then what's weird is that some of these commentaries are saying that envy is one of these sins that we don't even know it's actually taking place. So it's actually really odd. I'm so surprised that more people haven't brought up that question of how do we heal envy and jealousy in others. I mean, I guess it would be loving other people, right? And encouraging them. Interesting. That's so weird. I'm so surprised there's not a lot of things talked about this, right? Very odd. Isn't that weird? I just find that super strange. Because I mean, how would we heal somebody? How would we heal other people that are envious and jealous, right? That's a very odd thing to think about. I mean, it's so crazy, right? I mean, I guess we'll just keep going deeper into some of these things about of this stuff, right? What up, Creative Fit? How goes it, man? Hey, what do you think about this? It's weird because I'm looking it up and there's not that many Bible commentaries on it, but the Bible study I wanted to do today, which I thought there was going to be just a ton of information on is like, okay, so, you know, yesterday we did the whole thing on envy and jealousy, the effects of envy and jealousy, right? Which it goes so deep. I mean, one of the commentaries said that envy and jealousy bleeds into every other sin, which is insane to think about, right? And they also brought up that when Cain and Abel, the first murder in the Bible, Cain was actually envious of Abel, and he killed him, right? So it can even cause things like murder and things of that nature. And the thing is that if it is this big and this crazy of a like sin, how can we heal this in other people, right? The weird thing is I'm like looking it up, and the thing I'm actually noticing when I'm looking up this question is that they're always saying, okay, well, this is envy, this is how we heal envy and jealousy in you, right? And I guess it's like they're just like making it aware. So I'm wondering like how can we help to heal that in other people, right? Which I'm not really too sure on, right? I'm going to read this one, though. Let's read this one. Got questions? What does the Bible say about jealousy? What was Jesus' example? Taking on the form of a servant, not grasping. That is interesting, right? Taking on the form of a servant, right? Huh. He would even help the lowest of the low, right? Maybe there is something deeper to be learned in that, right? Huh. You know what? Maybe that... You know what? Now I think about it, you actually are bringing up an interesting point. Because that's actually making me think of... I think that's making me think of Matthew 25, right? Matthew 25 speaks on the least of these, right? Let's actually read Matthew 25 now. I think maybe there's something actually deeper we can learn about this. Onto what we deserve, but how we can serve. Interesting. Dude, that's so good you actually said that, because you totally you totally got me thinking into a whole new aspect of how do we heal envy and jealousy in others, right? Well, actually, it's kind of making me think now, because of these verses actually inspired me when I was living in my car in Long Beach, right? Because what was weird is that when I was living out there, it was kind of like one of the scariest times in the beginning, because I was like, I'm like, I should be living in different situations, stuff like that. But the other weird thing was that observing the homeless people out there, it was so crazy, because I would be like angry and upset and frustrated and depressed, and this was kind of before I was really, I was like a believer, but I wasn't like fully into it, right? I was just kind of was like dabbling into it, honestly. But what was really trippy is like when I was going through these crazy emotions, right? I would see these homeless people right outside my car, and they're just living it, right? And they're just living outside, and I'm just like, what in the world, bro? I am tripping out. These people are out here just living, right? And I'm just like, I should not even be, like, it could always be worse, right? And it's kind of making me think of these verses right here. Also what you brought up. Let's actually read these verses up in here. When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, then he will sit on his glorious throne. Before him will be gathered all the nations, and he will separate people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will place the sheep on his right, but the goats on the left. Then the king will say on those on his right, Come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then the righteous will answer him, saying, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you drink? And when did we see you a stranger and welcome you, or naked and clothe you? And when did we see you sick or in prison and visit you? And the king will answer them, Truly I say to you, you did as you did to one of the least of these, my brothers, you did it to me. Man, isn't that crazy right there? This verse right here is so impactful. I honestly think maybe even helping like the least of these, right? Helping the least of these, helping the downtrodden. Even though it can seem scary at many times, right? But maybe the whole aspect of like even seeing their living circumstances, right? Being like, oh, well, imagine you living like that, right? I mean, I guess that could probably heal honestly, that's probably one of the big things that would probably heal envy and jealousy, right? And I guess the other strange thing now that I think about it is that I'm actually wondering if this actually is one of the reasons why I met so many zealous believers out in Cali, man. I don't know what the water is out there, bro, but there are some zealous believers out there, bro, that I met. They're just like on it, dude. Whereas like I think because I'm kind of more in like suburbia at the moment, like more people aren't really about it, right? Because I think more people can just like kind of like stay inside or something like that, right? But when I was out there in Long Beach, bro, there was just like these gnarly, zealous believers. And honestly, I'm wondering if it's just because there was just so many homeless people everywhere, right? And maybe, you know, because I'm wondering if like the homeless people almost like humble us, right? Being like, oh, well, it could always be worse. You know, like imagine like you being super pissed off at life and just super depressed, and then you just see some homeless person out there with just nothing. What if they just had just nothing and they're like, oh, could I just have some food, sir? Like something like that, right? I think that would humble some people. That would humble me. Like that has humbled me, honestly. Philippians 2:7. Let's see what that one says. Philippians 2:7. Let's see here. Philippians 2:7. But emptied himself by taking the form of a servant, being born in the likeness of men. Isn't there something about saying if you want to be first, you have to be servant of all? So think about the problem is our focus. Grass is greener, right? If we focus on serving others, helps people. Yeah, very true. So I guess that could start like a good chain effect, right? Trying to help other people, right? And actually, it kind of like it kind of makes me think of the very verse I kind of started it off with, right? So today I started it off with these verses in Proverbs. Because I was just thinking, okay, how do we heal if envy and jealousy is this crazy as as some of these commentaries are saying? And I know it's crazy because it affects a lot of people, and it has even affected me. It actually still affects me, honestly. And I think the thing about it is that it made me think about this verse right here, right? There is one whose rash words are like sword thrusts, but the tongue of the wise brings healing, right? So I think that's another interesting thing is like maybe thinking about how can we serve other people? How can we encourage other people with our words, right? Because I think many times we might not have like a bunch of money just to help other people out and stuff like that, right? But maybe what are some other ways of encouragement we could do, right? To take their minds off their lack. Interesting, yeah. I think maybe there's also a level of, in some weird way, I'm wondering if, like the kind of the onset of streaming and things of this nature. I'm actually wondering if one of the big reasons why it's gaining maybe the traction it's starting to gain is because there's this level of people get to see people's failures, right? Like even just the stream right now, right? I can't edit this stuff out, right? So there's this level of like, I can mess up and you're going to see my failures. I mean, you can see if you watch me ride my bike, man, I'm just failing over and over. I probably only land like 3 or 4 clips a day, right? When I'm trying it hundreds and hundreds of times, right? But the weird thing is, I guess the other strange thing about this whole situation is what if we did live in a world where we only saw people's highlight reels, right? What if it was just the best of the best all the time? Maybe that might cause people to be like, well, man, so imagine this. Imagine if I was like riding my bike, right? And I just see all these people just landing these crazy hard tricks, but I actually don't see all the failure that they did in some degree. It'd be like, well, what am I doing wrong, man? I'm not even going to try this. This is too hard. I've tried this 100 times and I keep failing. I'm just going to give up, right? Or you might even get depressed or angry or sad or just frustrated. But not knowing that maybe these people that did land these tricks or something like that have done it. What if they failed hundreds of thousands of times and you just weren't aware that they were like that, right? So I'm actually wondering if there's this level of, oh, dude, it's making me think of 2 Corinthians 12:9. Let's go into 2 Corinthians 12:9. Man, this Bible study is weird. It's so weird because there's not, if you look it up on Google right now, how do we heal the envy and jealousy in others? There's really not that many commentaries that go into it. So I'm like having to like think, okay, well what are some scriptures that talks about this? 2 Corinthians 12:9. This is actually a very interesting one. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Huh. Isn't that weird, right? So, really thinking about this verse right here. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. And here's the weird part that it says, therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses. That is absurd, right? Because in our this verse is a paradox in our modern society, right? Because our modern society, what does it promote? It promotes wanting to show your best, wanting to put your best foot forward, wanting to not show people your mistakes, wanting to not show people your failures, right? But what's weird about this verse, what Paul is saying is he's saying, I am going to boast in my weaknesses. How many people would want to do that, right? How many companies would want to do that? Probably not many, right? And it's just so odd. But I think there's actually a bigger degree thinking about this, is what if boasting in our weaknesses can even help other people? What if it shows a level of humanity to other people, being like, oh, well, that guy's messing up. Oh, maybe I can try that too, right? Instead of being like, it sounds hilarious. Dude, this Bible study is so weird. But please take everything I say with a grain of salt. I'm just like, it's just so weird because I'm like trying to find this stuff, and it's like there's not many commentaries on it, right? Because this is what I put in. Oh wait, I put in this one. How do we heal envy and jealousy? Bible and others. Bible. How do we heal envy and jealousy and others? I think that's a very interesting one, right? I wish I could, honestly, I really wish I could just heal everybody's envy and jealousy. How crazy, what would society look like if we could just heal everybody's envy and jealousy of one another, right? Like, that would be crazy, right? That would be very, very interesting. So now we're going to look up this one. I was just about to read this commentary. Maybe this commentary is going to lead us into some more answers. What does the Bible say about jealousy? When we use the word jealous, we use it in a sense of being envious of someone who has something we do not have. This kind of jealousy is a sin and is not characteristic of a Christian. Rather, it shows that we are still being controlled by our own desires. 1 Corinthians 3:3 and Galatians 5:26 says, let us not become conceited, provoking, and envying each other. Wow. Dude, it's so weird. Here's the other weird thing, bro. See how that, I'm going to underline it right here. See how this, it's so weird because all the commentaries we went into yesterday, they did not bring that verse up. Let us not become conceited and provoking and envying each other, right? I mean, that's a big one. It's like they're even saying we shouldn't even be provoking people, right? That's really gnarly to do, right? Think about jealousy as if it is sucking the life bars from all around them. Oh, yeah. It's kind of like sucking because it's kind of like, and it just gets everybody just being like, oh, well, I'm not good enough. Or I'm like, like I'm never going to get to that level or something like that, right? I don't know. It's just very weird, right? But then it's weird because we live in a society that's always just like we're in like the rat race, right? Like we're in the rat race of always wanting to like be the best versions of ourselves and things of that nature, right? So, man, it's just so odd. It's a very complex issue, actually, to think about. But it's actually a very big issue because, I mean, I don't know if you were in here in the beginning, but the other thing is that this is the scariest thing about envy and jealousy and just coveting, the sin of coveting, is that, dude, there's people right at this very moment, dude, that are probably, I mean, I would like to say it's not going to happen, but honestly, it probably is happening right at this very moment. That, dude, they're probably on the verges of just snapping, bro. They're on the verges of just snapping and wanting to hurt lots of people, wanting to hurt themselves, wanting to do mass shootings and wanting to, commit heinous acts of violence and all these crazy crimes and stuff like this, right? And from the Bible study yesterday, a big a big thing about that is envy and jealousy. And I'm just like, bro, we should probably be thinking about this more, because if it is that crazy, like, dude, that's insane, bro. And if we, and the other thing is, if we could heal that in some degree, man, like, that would be amazing, man. I would, like, how crazy would it be if we could just heal that? Or even you being a single person, maybe you even having one little stepping stone into somebody's life to not do that, right? I mean, that would just, man, that in some degree you can almost save people's lives, and that's like a literal, like, thing about that, right? But if we gave Jesus, God did not hold back. If we have God, what do we lack? Yeah. I think that reminds me of the verse of something. It kind of reminds me of saying, like, we possess nothing, but we gain all things, or something like that. There's a verse that says something like that, right? Because we kind of started, like, gaining the truth of what God, of the real truth, right? The truth that sets us free. And that's the other crazy thing, right? I'm actually wondering. Now, it's actually interesting, right? Sometimes I like to think about it this way too, right? So this is the biblical view of how to deal with envy and jealousy, right? Now, there are many, like, psychologists and therapists and things of this nature that they have their own, like, methods of how to heal envy and jealousy, right? But what I'm really wondering is, do people actually remember that when they're actually going through that, right? Because that's the other crazy thing. Imagine if I, like, went to all these places and they're like, okay, this is how you heal envy and jealousy, and they gave me 700,000 different methods on how to heal this, right? I'm wondering, like, how many times I would try and even remember, if I could remember any of them. Okay, let's read some more of this up in here. The more we focus on ourselves and our own desires, the less we are able to focus on God. When we harden our hearts to the truth, we cannot turn to Jesus and allow Him to heal us, Matthew 13:15. But when we allow the Holy Spirit to control us, He will produce in us the fruit of our salvation, which is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, Galatians 5:22-23. Being jealous indicates that we are not satisfied with what God has given us. The Bible tells us to be content with what we have, for God will never fail or forsake us, Hebrews 13:5. Interesting. Wow. That's actually a very interesting one, right? In order to combat jealousy, we need to become more like Jesus and less like ourselves. Dude, just like what you were saying, right? Dude, just like what you were saying, brother, bringing that up. We need to become more like Jesus and less like ourselves. We can get to know Him through Bible study, prayer, and fellowship with mature believers, as we learn how to serve others instead of ourselves. Bro, dude, you brought it up. You already called it right in the beginning, man. As we learned how to serve others instead of ourselves, our heart will begin to change. Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed and renewed of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what's God's will, good and pleasing in His perfect will. Romans 12:2. Oh, dude. Dude, I know this sounds crazy, but this is like a big, like, circle effect right now, because there was this one verse we went into on encouragement. And it was this one right here. Where is it? It was this verse right here. It was, let's see here. It was Hebrews 10:24-25. And let us consider how to stir one another up. I think maybe stirring might even be, like, kind of serving, right? Like, how do we stir, right? Like, what does stirring mean, right? When I think about stirring, it's like, like mixing it all up. Like, how do we just, like, how do we mix it all up to, okay, let us consider how to stir one another up to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together, as it is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near. I mean, I think maybe that's another one, right? Not neglecting to meet together, right? I think that's actually a very important one. I think maybe, like, not being isolated, because maybe isolation, right? Imagine if you were, like, isolated for year after year after year after year. Like, imagine you just never talked to anybody outside. and you were just always in your own little sphere, right? Maybe that could breed more like envy and jealousy, maybe like a lack of empathy towards others, because you're like, oh, well, all these people don't get me and stuff like this, right? Very interesting, right? But what I was thinking about, like serving others, right, and how this verse says right here, and we are to stir one another up to love and good works, right? Now the good works part is very interesting, because that's mentioned in Matthew 5:14-16, which the Lord says we should be shining like lights. And that's the interesting thing about shining like lights, right? Is that we can potentially be helping others. Right? That's actually very strange to think about. In the same way, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. So I guess that's another aspect, right? Because imagine us not shining our light, right? Imagine if we kept everything to ourselves. We're just like, oh, I'm just going to hoard everything. But the thing is, if we are trying to be a city set on a hill that's not been hidden, we're trying to just be a light to other people, right? It might not seem like it, but maybe even you being a light unto others and not trying to be hidden, you might even be helping other people out, right? People said it like this: we are two ticks sucking the light out of two ticks sucking the life out of each other. We all need a dog. I don't get that one. Now I'm going to type this in again. I'm going to just keep looking at it. Let's see here. Maybe I need to type it in a different way. How do we heal envy and jealousy? I'm just going to type that in, Bible. I don't know which one I should pick. Oh, interesting. Okay. This one's actually saying something interesting. Now this one's saying this: 8 most effective steps to deal with an envious person. When we aren't drawing on God, we suck the life out of each other. Jealousy. Interesting, yeah. Now the other thing is, I think jealousy and envy is actually one of those, one of these emotions, I guess even a sin, right? A very deep sin, actually, that like people maybe don't want to like admit, right? And the thing maybe why they don't want to admit it is because maybe they don't even actually realize they are envious and jealous, right? Because that's what some of these commentaries are saying, is that this sin is actually very, it can be very subtle. Let's read this. I'm going to actually read this. This actually might be one that actually brings it up. This post is all about envy in the Bible. It is no secret that envy is toxic. But what exactly is envy? What does envy in the Bible look like? And why should we avoid it? Interesting. This one says, quick disclaimer, nobody is perfect. Everyone, me included, has different trials and struggles throughout their Christian life. However, I believe we need to be aware of certain things in order to live a purpose-driven life. Okay, let's see here. What's this person going to bring up? It dawned on me that envy is truly terrible. It's toxic, can ruin relationships, and prevent people from fully walking in their purpose. For where envying and strife is, there is confusion in every evil work. James 3:16. That is brutal. Envy can manifest itself in several ways. Sorry, they're putting in a lot of different things. Rumors and gossip. Someone who is envious of another person's success may try to undermine them by gossiping about them or spreading rumors. They may also try to sabotage their efforts or belittle their accomplishments. Now, That's actually really weird. Now, the commentaries yesterday did not go into that. Now, that is actually very important. How many crazy things have happened that... Dude, I have literally... I have been in this weird... Like, I mean, I wasn't a part of it, but I saw it unfold. Where I saw these people, and they just, like, were, like, kind of by the bars and stuff, and one person said, oh, that person said something about you, and they actually didn't say that, and then they got into a fight just because one person got all mad, and they just said something, and then some other people that they didn't even know said that this person over here said something, and that literally made these two people get in a fight. I'm just like, bro, that is insane, bro. Like, it's just so insane. Microaggressions. So now they're bringing up microaggressions. These are small, often subtle actions of words that communicate a message of disrespect or exclusion. For example, if one is envious of a coworker's promotion, they may give them false praise or backhanded compliments. They may also try to downplay their achievements or make them feel like they don't deserve their success. Jealousy and unhealthy competition. If you are envious of someone, you may find yourself constantly comparing yourself to them and trying to one-up them. This can create a toxic environment and damage relationships. It's also important to remember that we are all on our own journey, and we each have our own unique gifts and talents. Comparing ourselves to others will only make us feel inferior and prevent us from living our best life. I think that's interesting. I think maybe thinking about people's unique gifts and talents, right? Like, I think maybe thinking about that, like, everybody can bring something to the table, right? And that actually makes me think about the body of Christ, right? Like, everybody has something to offer. I mean, even just thinking about that, man, like, because, I mean, and some people, and here's the other weird thing, and here's the other actually very encouraging thing about the body of Christ, right? Now, the other thing is, like, you don't have, like, you know how I do, like, the bike riding and thing? You do not need to do the bike riding at all, honestly. If anything, you guys should be getting into the Bible studies. This stuff is what really is going to set us free, right? The truth will set us free, right? But just thinking about that, right? We can even think about, there's this one dude, he doesn't even have arms and legs, man, and he, like, became a pastor. What's his name? I think his name's, like, Nick Verdenheim or something like that. But just even thinking what he's going through, man, like, sometimes that honestly humbles me, bro. I'm just like, bro, like, whenever you get sad or, like, depressed or, like, some crazy thing. Now, I understand we all go through different scenarios in life. But, dude, imagine, like, some of the things that other people are going through, right? Like, and it's very, very interesting, man. It's so, but I think the hard thing is that when we do go through these trials and tribulations, right? Like, when we do get envious and jealous, many times the things that we should be thinking about, like, to maybe combat these problems, they're actually not in our mind, right? Like, they're sometimes the farthest things in our mind. That's happened to me a lot, actually, unfortunately. But the thing is when I catch it, right? Especially the ones where, like in James, where he says, when we go through trials, we should be actually looking to it with joy and things of this nature. Or not only that one, but also when James says, anger does not produce the righteousness of God. Bro, I probably went through, like, scenarios where I actually did get angry, right? And the thing is that afterwards this happened, I thought I remembered that verse of anger doesn't produce the righteousness of God, and I was like, bro, I totally did not have that verse in my mind, right? I think if there's one verse out there, if you guys could remember it, it just, anger does not produce the righteousness of God. I think that one's really helped me out, because it's like one sentence, honestly. Like, let's see here. Envy is a dangerous emotion that can lead to many negative consequences. If you find yourself feeling envious of someone, it is essential to take a step back and examine the root cause. Once you identify the root cause, you can start working on addressing it. Now, see, man, all these commentaries are kind of going into the same thing, right? All these commentaries. It seems like all these commentaries are going into this thing of, we have to feel envy and jealousy. We have to be aware of our own selves that we're feeling this, which is very important, right? That's very important. But what none of these commentaries are going into is, how do we facilitate other people to not get envious and jealous, right? That's the question I actually wanted to get into. But It seems like none of these are really getting into it, but I guess it's just encouraging one another, just serving other people. Interesting. Let's see. Characteristics of envy. There are 7 detailed characteristics of envy that Christians need to be aware of. Toxic. This is number 1. Toxicity in our city. Let's read this. Envy can poison our hearts and minds, causing us to think and behave in ways that are harmful to ourselves and to others. When we are consumed by envy, we become obsessed with what other people have that we do not have. We compare ourselves to them, feeling inferior and resentful. We may try to hurt or undermine them in order to feel better about ourselves. This toxic emotion can damage our relationships and lead us into a spiral of self-destruction. It corrodes. Envy eats away at our hearts, slowly destroying our ability to love and be loved. Wow. And be loved. Wow, that's very interesting, right? When we are controlled, that's actually a very interesting one, right? Like, imagine if we were imagine if you were in this situation, right? You were envious of imagine you were envious of wanting to have a Ferrari or something like that, right? And then someone gives you kind of a beat up car, and you're like, oh, I don't even want this beat up car. And when you didn't even have a car or something like that, right? Maybe there's that level of maybe things of thinking about that. When we are controlled by envy, we are unable to enjoy the good things in our lives. In our own lives, we may find ourselves dwelling on the past or fixating on what other people have that we don't have. This can lead us to a deep sense of dissatisfaction and resentment. Dangerous. Envy can cause us to act in ways that are harmful to ourselves and to others. Envy can also lead us into temptation and sin. We may be tempted to lie, cheat, or steal in order to get what we want. This dangerous emotion can have a negative impact on every area of our lives. Lack of scarcity mindset. When we are controlled by envy, we focus on what we do not have instead of what we do have. Oh, dude, that's actually a big one that these commentaries didn't really go into, right? To be thankful, right? There's actually one verse that says we are to be thankful in all situations, right? What verse is that? We are to be thankful in all situations. Now, that's actually one I honestly forget about a lot, honestly. I'm going to be really honest. Wow, dude. Dude, this is such a big one right here. I'm actually really glad I did a 2-part thing on envy and jealousy, because this is such a big one right here. 1 Thessalonians 5:18. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. Bro, that is such a big verse, I think, right now. Because, imagine if we were never thankful. Imagine if the Lord was actually giving you these things in your life that what if we were just that's not what I wanted, Lord. That's totally, I think that's all that stuff's just trash and all that stuff, right? When the Lord actually gave you all this stuff, right? And we're just not thankful, right? That could totally lead people into a bunch of envy and jealousy, right? Man, that's actually a very interesting one, man. That's a hard one. I honestly, I need to get that one caught in my mind. To be thankful in all circumstances. Because I guess it could always be worse. Very interesting, huh? We may feel like we are not good enough, or that we will never have what other people have. This can lead to a feeling of hopelessness and despair. Anti-abundance. What does this mean? This one actually piggybacks on point number 4 that I just mentioned. Envy causes us to believe that there is not enough to go around. We may feel like we have to compete with others for what we want. This can lead us to make decisions out of fear instead of love. Wow, that's weird. Envy and jealousy can get us into fear? Dude, envy and jealousy is so brutal, bro. This is confusing, man. This is insane, dude. It's like envy and jealousy just goes into so many different emotions. It's ridiculous, actually. We have to ask, who is living the good life? Can the poor side of the tracks be rich in life? Ah, yeah, that's actually very interesting to think about too, right? I mean, it actually kind of made me think about like when I was living in Long Beach in my car, right? What was crazy is like I would go by some places, and there was this one instance where I saw someone like in a Ferrari get cut off, or like their car almost got hit or something like that, and like they were getting like so angry, like in this crazy car, right? But the thing was, is like right outside the street, there was like some homeless person with like pushing a shopping cart, right? But I guess that could almost be like subjective, right? Oh, you know what? Let me just read these, and there's actually another verse that you actually made me think about. Destructive. Envy can lead us down a path of self-destruction. At its extreme, one may make choices that are harmful to themselves to cope with envy. They may also engage in questionable behaviors to numb the pain. Sinful and against God's design. Envy is an emotion that goes against God's design for us. When we are controlled by envy, we are not living in accordance to His will for our lives. We may find ourselves in conflict with His commandments and principles. Envy can lead us astray from the path of righteousness into the life of sin. That is just brutal. that is so insane, right? That's like it's such a big thing, actually. Wow, that's like wow. Interesting. So now they're actually going into how to deal with people that are envious or jealous. This is actually the first commentary that's going into this. 8 most effective Christian steps on how to deal with envious person or friend, or just an entire people group, right? I feel like that's happening at the moment, right? Pray for discernment. The first step is to pray for God's guidance and wisdom. Ask Him to help you see the situation clearly, to know how to deal with your friend, or just with people in general, right? I think that would actually be a good one, right? I think maybe this is actually a way to maybe go about things, right? Is being like, because I actually forget to be thankful. I'm going to be real, I will confess, I totally forget, like I totally forgot about that verse, right? To be thankful in all circumstances. So maybe that could be a way to help maybe heal people's envy, just maybe acknowledging them that we should be thankful, and maybe things could always be worse, like, you know, like I was in Laguna where a lady was in a dope car, got all crazy on someone who scuffed it. Yeah. That's the thing about anger, right? It's like, it's very interesting, man. Okay, so the first one that they said is we are to pray for discernment, right? And I think that's a good one, right? We are to think, okay, so this is such a big one, bro. I'm so surprised that I haven't actually heard more pastors and sermons on this topic. If it goes into this is a 2-part Bible study. I rarely do 2-part Bible studies, but today, these 2 days actually are very. It's already been an hour and 8 minutes, dude. This is crazy. This is such a long Bible study. Because even yesterday it was really long. But this is how important all this stuff is. Envy and jealousy, bro, it is insane what it could do to people's lives, man. I never actually, I feel like I only just knew the little surface. I only had the little surface thing about it. And it goes deep, bro. It's almost kind of like there's an iceberg, right? There's the envy and jealousy, but there's an iceberg of things that all this stuff can cause, man. It's actually really crazy. I'm almost baffled at it. It's insane. Okay, reflect and be honest and transparent about the facts. Take some time to reflect on the facts and try to be objective as possible if there are specific incidents that have bothered you. Be honest and transparent about them. Evaluate the situation. It's essential to evaluate people's behavior. Okay, interesting. Okay, yeah. I guess that would be good, right? To evaluate people's behavior, what are they doing? That would be an interesting one, right? To evaluate people's behavior. Honestly, we could even think about it this way, right? What if people are caught in being always envious and jealous, but they never want to accept God, right? that would be actually really weird to think about, right? I mean, I honestly think that could even just be a curse on somebody's life, right? But man, that's actually so crazy to think about. Approach with love and in correct love. When you approach people about their behavior, it's essential to do so with love. Remember that they are not perfect, that God loves them just as much as he loves you. Try to be understanding and compassionate. If something needs to be corrected, do so in love. Listen. When people share their side of the story, it's essential to listen. Try to understand where they are coming from. Asking questions if you need clarification. Be kind and open-minded. Even if you don't agree with these people, it's important to be kind and open-minded. Try to see things from their perspective, and remember that God loves them, even if they are difficult to love. Interesting, man. This is actually a very big problem, bro. I'm wondering what other believers would talk about on this topic, right? But yeah, I guess that was the Bible study. Holy moly, dude! This Bible study was brutal. I mean, I feel like I don't know. Maybe I just think it's like that, but I do feel like there is a major play of envy and jealousy in our society, and there's a way we could heal it. All right, let's do a card draw. That was the Bible study. That was a gnarly Bible study, man. Another gnarly one. I still feel like there's still questions that I haven't dude, literally there's still more questions, bro, about this topic, because so one of the commentaries yesterday went into saying that envy and jealousy is actually something that Satan uses. Now, all the commentaries we just read today did not go anything into that, right? Oh my goodness, this might even be a 3-part thing. Oh my goodness. I think healing, it can happen in community. Yeah, that is true, right? I mean, we did learn a lot. Maybe not being isolated, not neglecting to meet together, encouraging one another for love and good works. I think that's a big one. I think if there's any, by the way, if anybody's listening to this, right? Just think about it this way, man. There are people out there right now that are just wanting to tick, bro. They're there could be that one person as we speak, man, that is just wanting to hurt a lot of people, wanting to maybe even hurt themselves, maybe wanting to even commit suicide and things of this nature, right? And if envy is this crazy, if it is this serious of a sin, right? There should be some major ways. Even if you imagine you being that one person, just giving somebody just a little bit of encouragement, just giving them a little bit of more hope to hold on and not to do some crazy heinous acts, bro. In turn, your little display of you wanting to help somebody could potentially save some people's lives. It sounds ridiculous, but that, it could even be like that, right? And it's actually that. I don't even know. It's is that not crazy? That's just insane to me, man. And it's just crazy that there's that's the other thing, is I would like to say that this stuff doesn't happen, but this stuff actually does happen, and it's unfortunate, and it really is. And I guess the other thing is maybe we are to be aware of what's there, the situations around us, right? So kindness and tenderness goes a long way. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's look at some artwork. Holy moly, this Bible study is brutal, dude. Holy moly, I apologize to anybody that... Oh man, this is a gnarly Bible study. Okay, let's see. Did I cut this? Yeah, I did cut it. Okay, first card of the day. We got Regenerate. Yeah, that's a gnarly card right there. I mean, here's the other thing. Even just thinking about even this card right now, right? What I've noticed actually is a lot of envy and jealousy is actually stemmed from just other people's love. You know, in terms of like them being in a relationship, right? Just being like, oh, well, they're in a relationship or they're with that person. Why can't I be with a person or something like that, right? And that actually puts in a whole nother thing in the cog of envy and jealousy, actually, right? That is like a whole like thing that actually these commentaries didn't go into, right? Very interesting. And I guess the other thing about just like thinking about, I mean, that's so weird that this card just made me think about that, is that just so much of our media is just like kind of like that, right? Like most movies, right? Like what do most movies promote? Like they promote like, oh, well, you know, it's like relationships and stuff like this, right? It's like just human nature in some degree. But that's actually a big one, actually. All right, second card, Spirit Mammal. Man, I like this card. This card looks gnarly, dude. When I think about this card, I just think about, like, imagine being able to see people's, like, spirit armor. Like the armor of God. Card's gnarly. Number 3. Ooh, interesting. Okay. It's actually one of the new cards I put in there. Angelic Wall. Cool. Oh, dude, you know what's weird, bro? Dude, even thinking about this, you know how, like, I wonder if Satan was envious and jealous. Huh. None of the commentaries went into that, actually. It's so weird. There's so many things that these commentaries didn't go into, right? I'm actually wondering if, like, do you think Satan and, you know, like, I wonder if Satan's just a really envious and jealous person or something like that. Sir Tommy Seer. I like the, now this isn't a Bible verse, but I like the flavor text. The mirrors show two worlds, that which is and that which should be. Number 5. Oh, wow, dude, that's so interesting. You know how you brought up, like, serving? Dude, that's so weird, Creative Fit, bro. You brought up that in the beginning. And that's what this card, you know, this one just says call to serve. That one reminds me of Isaiah with, like, the wings. Got a forest. So, illuminated wings. Another one, another new one. One, two, 3, 4. Okay, that was the draw of the day. What a brutal topic, man. I think it's a brutal topic just because of all the people that have died. It's actually really sad. Isn't that sad? It's actually sad to think of all the people that have died just because of people that were, like, envious and jealous, and it's actually very scary. And there's like a weight, bro. There's like a big weight on this topic, actually. Like, it's like huge. It's like the iceberg weight, bro. It's like oh, it's like kind of like a no. There's like this giant iceberg underneath it, man. I mean, even Abel, dude. Abel died because of that, man. Man. so weird, dude. It's so weird that I'm even thinking about this because I actually met this dude named Abel this weekend actually. It's so weird, and he actually rode BMX. That's the other weird thing. Oh my goodness, bro. Sometimes it's just like sometimes some things are weird, man. Alrighty. Well, I guess let's ride some bikes. I think today's stream's actually going to be a little shorter. We're going to do some stuff today. Let's do this. Let's see, is this on manual? Oh, it's on auto. Have a good one, man. Keep it up, bro. Thanks for stopping by, dude, and thanks for your words, bro. You actually totally like made me think about so many different things about like and just the whole Bible study today, dude. Very, very important things you brought up, especially like the serving other people, bro. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate that. Very important. You should start doing Bible study, man. I wish every believer just did Bible study. I'm just curious of like how other people do them, right? Because everybody does their like Bible study devotional things fit differently, right? Hopefully we just start the chain of events where just more believers just start doing it. Because that goes into the Great Commission, so ultimately I think that the Lord would like that. They're kind of awkward though, but they're really important. That's the thing. So. If not the most important thing to do, actually. Everything else is secondary. We have to put God first. Okay. What do we do? Do some knee exercises. By the way, this is the knee that does not have an ACL. This is like the only warm-ups I really do. So by the way, if you guys don't know how most people tear their ACL, most people tear their ACL is they plant their foot and their body weight twists their leg and twists their knee like this. And generally how people tear their ACL. I don't do them on screen, but thought about doing them alongside chest streams. Oh, that'd be cool. Good one, bro. Keep it up, dude. Thanks for stopping by. Crossed up.
messed up. My wheels on the tree. Oh, my wheels shifted. It's my wheel and it's my brake. I'm gonna fix that. Okay, let's fix this up. Brake. Fix my bike wheel.
So you think you know Wix? Do you really? First up, you gotta shake video masks. You can use different shapes to shape different kinds of aesthetics. Or to create your own graphic, I use the shape composition here. Just import any SVG file and set it in the shape mask. Nice. Next up, keep it moving with
Broken.
use it to animate any element and create really eye-catching interactions. Around the globe.
Let's see, I need to fix this. Oh, okay, this thing is broken. Oh my goodness. That's why. I'm gonna have to like bend this.
I wonder how I'm gonna do this. I have to like rebend this spring. Alright, let's see here. It's weird that that spring started doing that. I've never seen it really do that before. I'm wondering how I'm gonna fix this. Let's see here. Okay, we fixed it. We put in a different spring.
Let's push this a little bit to the side. We got one more hour, and that's gotta get ready. There we go. Man, I'm out of it today. Oh yeah, that's what we're trimming too. it's fine. Totally cannot line that thing. I think I can land it now. Just gotta like slow it down. See, Momo! He definitely has a distinctive style.
What causes sensitivity? Did you know that the two leading causes of irritated gums and weak enamel? Switch to Sensodyne Sensitivity Gum and Enamel helps take care of 3 problems in just 1 toothpaste.
This one. Ooh, video game soundtracks. Pretty cool, actually. I don't even think I'm gonna land anything today.
I just started hopping.
I doing wrong? Like right there. So Drew. Yoo-wee. Hello. Oh, I almost did it. That was close, dude.
For an effective defense against erosion and chemicals, I recommend New Animal Active Shield. For 2 times stronger defense against erosion and
What was the scripture today?
New Animal Active Shield is a game changer.
It was actually kind of a continuation. Today's Bible study was on. Today's Bible study was on how do we heal envy and jealousy? Because none of the commentaries went into that yesterday, right? Basically, we delegated. Me and this other, there was another believer that was on the stream. He brought up some verses, ways to heal envy and jealousy, because envy and jealousy actually has a very prominent negative effect on people, and of course entire civilizations and societies actually, and just so crazy. And then one of the commentaries said that actually envy and jealousy actually spurns into every other sin, so it's actually very pivotal. But we went into like trying to serve others, trying to be thankful in our situation, trying to encourage others. How can we use our words to encourage people? And just how can we stir one another up for good love and good works? How can we love others? How can we understand and gain empathy towards people in their situations? And in turn, with all of this stuff, and in God's will, maybe we can somehow heal other people's envy and jealousies. And also showing some compassion to people, and kind of showing that we have weaknesses too, that we're not perfect, right? And kind of boasting in our weaknesses, because in our weakness, God gives us strength. That's kind of what the Bible study was on. But it went way deeper than that, right? But that's kind of like an overview of what we went into today. That's what I remember. Oh! I actually wonder if I could do like a kick, like went into a kick lunge.
don't know why it's so hard.
I actually haven't done that in a while.
In today's time, there's a lot of good to do, both from big to small. Yeah, very true, huh? Bring up a very good point. I lost my boomerangs.
Huh. Dude, I bet you could do that.
Track stand, switch foot track stand.
To, side donut? I just broke a spoke. Man, I lost this trick. Yeah, I lost it. Used to be able to do it.
Yeah, I'm trying to do like a boomerang and a half. Ain't really working out though.
Not any different song. What about the song?
I'm listening to songs way too many times. Need some water. Be back. Man, I haven't landed anything today. Cool. Yeah, I've been stuck in that one. I think I'm doing the bar spin the wrong way. Am I doing the bar spin the wrong way? Maybe I have to do the bar spin the other way. No, I'm not. I don't bar that way though. Ah, that's it right there. Yeah, so like in BMXing, it's kind of like, are you right-handed or left-handed, right? So it's like whatever way. Some people are opposite, and the same goes for which side you grind on, and also the same for which, are you left foot forward or are you right foot forward? And sometimes there's a mixture of all that. So you could be, like take for example, you could go clockwise, but you could be right foot forward. Or you could be clockwise and be left foot forward, or vice versa. It's weird that trick looks easy, but actually I'm not good at it. Yeah, different. Yep. This song's cool. We actually found a cool new song. Save. Huh. What's this one? I love finding the new copyright free songs.
How do you tell the hardest working man apart from the rest? We made it easy.
Oh, that was it right there. That's hard. I don't know why. Like, it seems like an easy trick, but like I actually have a lot of trouble with it. I think it's because I'm barring it the opposite way. What have you been up to, Jeff? Have you been any verses lately that have been speaking to you? Standing out to you? Yeah, it's hard. I don't know why. Weird. I actually like this song too. Kind of cool new copyright free song. Save. Ooh, what's this?
I hope you can see our nose chefs look alike.
Oh yeah, it's home with your grandson. That's cool, man.
To achieve sameness.
That's right, dude. Man, I haven't wanted anything today. This song's kind of slow. And you guys know how to land this trick? This trick is hard. I don't know why it's so hard, but it is. Oh my god, I just want to hit the wall. can't even do anything. Today's a brutal day. There's no wind whatsoever. Try not to do gyrators, but triple. That's cool. Pretty fast. Pretty fast, huh? Man, I can't land anything today. It's weird. I guess I could just do gyrators, but I'm trying not to do gyrators today. What's this one? This one has a cross on it. This one has a cross on it. I'm like doing a hop in it. I don't want to hop. Oh, I almost did it. First line out all day. And I think I broke my bike. Yep. I think I broke my bearing, or my spring. All right. That was gnarly. I don't know how that trick messed my brakes up, but it did. Oh yeah. Darn, I need to get another spring, bro. I think that's broken. I'm gonna have to like bend it or something. I don't know how I break that thing. I must have like pressed my brakes really, really hard. I'm gonna have to like bend it. I think I can bend it more. At least that was the only line I've landed all day. Well, I guess I kind of landed something earlier, but it wasn't that smooth. Let's take that one, I think, today. Huh. It's weird. I like messed this spring up. gonna have to like bend this thing more. So I gotta do some bike maintenance, everybody. So with this spring, I have to basically bend this thing some more. I think I could do a vice grip bend. Where is the vice grip? Let's see here. A little bit more. Might have done it. Oh, shnikes. I gotta fix this up, man. Where's my tool at? Let's see here. Chewing that thing down there. That might work actually. Actually, I think that might work. You might have jerry-rigged it. Yeah, I am like sweating like crazy. I don't know if it's like humid or something in here. So sketchy. I have to like bend it again or something. I gotta bend this thing again. Okay, let's see here. I'm like having to like customize art. Boom. Okay, hopefully this works. Will it hold? I think it is. Oh, it's so sketchy. The Lord is good. Praise Him when you're down and praise Him when we up. Dude, thank you. Yeah, buddy, Priceless. My bad. I haven't been looking at the chat. How you doing, Priceless? How you doing, Price? I'm doing good, bro. I think the cool thing about like getting into like the Bible and stuff is like it just like keeps like you just like keep gaining endurance. I'm trying to fix this thing. I somehow bent this spring. Look at this. I've never bent a spring like that, where it literally like bended in the middle spring. It's so weird. Never had that happen before. Alrighty, we fixed it. We landed one line today. Oh yeah, we're trying to learn this new trick. This new trick's hard. Oh, that's good right there. That was close. Have you been streaming lately, Priceless? Dude, I'm so close. That's just brutal. We're gonna land it, bro. I've only landed like one sketchy one. It's hard. Keep going. Let's get those mountains fun. I wonder if like, how do they land this thing? I think they just like land it on the pedal right there. That. Seems easy, but it's hard. One day I'll learn it. Oh my goodness, this is ridiculous, huh? I've probably tried this trick probably 700 times. It actually might be more than 700 times. We might be in the thousands now. It's like I gotta like shift my body weight like just right, and you have to like slow it down. Seven times 700. It's just ridiculous. I've only landed one out of like so many tries. It's like days, dude. It's probably been like a month I've been after this trick. What other tricks have I been working on? I think I'm gonna try this one. What's this one? I gotta land it someday, bro. That's cool, bro. I think as long as I put my foot right there, I think it's putting the flight down. Like it always just like wants to like shoot out. You just gotta grab that seat, like just grab that seat for dear life. Maybe that's what the trick is. Just don't let go of that seat. Honestly, I bet if like I had a different seat, because I know some of those old school seats, they kind of have like a grip underneath it. This one's kind of like flat right here. But I know my other seat that I have, it has like a whole like yeah, it has like a grip on that thing.
I would go to yoga, but I don't have the right gear.
Save on all the best acting.
Oh, I gotta head out soon.
Also, I might have sent late.
See if I can land it. Right there. Gosh, I feel like I could land it. I'm just not landing it. Brutal. I'm kind of just like landing on the peg, honestly. It's kind of weird. I'm gonna land on this pedal. I know. The weird thing about this trick is there's not many how-tos, so I don't really know like how to really land it. There's like one how-to on like the side donut, and like they just kind of teach you how to scuff it. I mean, I could just land it like that. Kind of feels like I'm putting my back foot right there. So maybe I should just put my crank right there and just put my foot over. Like that, maybe? Brutal. Coconut water. Coconut water is good, man. I like coconut water. Oh, come on. This is a freaking workout, dude. This trick is straight up a workout trying to learn it. Dude, this trick is insane. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
My name is Julia. I live in New York and I'm a software engineer. My previous career was in hospitality, rental.
I guess I can see if I can do the other line a little better. Oh, that's it. That was close. Nice and hard. I'm only landing one thing all day today. Can't do anything today. Oh well. We tried. Today was hard. Today was just like full on, just trying to do tricks I'm not good at. And we only landed I only landed one line today. But, it's almost 3 hours, crazy. I guess I'll stream for like 10 more minutes. See if I can get this line better. Always wrong. Let's not do that one. He's an Undertaker. little too close to that thing. What's wrong with me? Why is it so hard?
These tricks are hard to do, man. Ooh. So I guess it's one of those days. I can't land anything. Ridiculous. Well, we gotta have fun in it. What is wrong with me, bro? This is gnarly. I'm like right there. It's hard. I think it's hard. I guess some people think it's easy, but normally I can land it. I did land it earlier. I just didn't land the other. Oh, I'm tired. Brutal. Well, I have a couple more attempts in me. It's almost 30. There we go. Finally. That one did not come easy. Man, I had to grind for that thing. Holy moly. That took like 20 tries, bro. That just that first trick, dude. Some days like that trick is hard. This day, like normally I'd like give up, but just because it's almost the end. But anyway, it was fun. Oh, it was fun. Let's see here. Let's read some of this.
Whoever brings blessing will be enriched, and one who waters will himself be watered. Proverbs 11:25. Now that one actually reminds me of a combo. One who waters will himself be watered. That reminds me of I planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase. And it reminds me of this verse right here. I planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase. So just know when you're out there, just know that when you meet other believers, that maybe they don't know at the time because not everybody remembers scripture and stuff like that. But just know that they might be trying to water you, and you might be watering them, and hopefully we'll just keep growing and keep growing and keep growing and become like tree people. And we'll start bearing fruit, and hopefully we can help to serve the Lord and glorify God in any way. Which, by the way, I really hope I'm not intimidating people with any of the bike. This is just like something I can add in with the Bible study devotionals. You don't even need to ride a bike, honestly, but what is important, what's like actually the most important part about these streams is the Bible study devotional. That's where it really lies. This is just all stuff that hopefully we can use to glorify God, then that'd be cool. But anyway, I'm out of here, everybody. I have some things to do. Thank you for tuning in. I'm out of here. Peace.